Greetings. In this video, we are going to discuss a new chapter in science, which is sound. So, we will discuss how sound is produced and what are the parameters that determine the quality of sound and the applications, etc. So, let us begin. Sound is a form of energy made by vibrations. When an object vibrates, it causes the air particles around it to move. These particles bump into particles close to them, and this continues until they run out of energy. So basically, you have a an object which vibrates. For example, a string. So you take a string like this. Take a string like this. This is a string of some instrument. Say this is a string of guitar. So if I plug this string, it will start vibrating. It will start vibrating. It will vibrate in a very rapid manner, and when it vibrates, the air surrounding this string, which was pretty much static before the string vibrated, is now set into vibrations. So the air undergoes compressions and rarefactions. So when the string, which is like this, suddenly goes upward and becomes like this due to vibration, then the air over here becomes compressed. It becomes compressed, and this compression becomes the opposite when the string becomes like this. So it very rapidly goes backward, such that in a sense it sucks in the air. So the compression becomes something called a rarefaction. And this pressure difference, here the pressure is more, and here the pressure is less. This change in pressure travels in the form of waves, and this wave comprises sound. So when these waves reach our ears, the diaphragm in our ear also vibrates and we perceive sound, and this is how sound waves are produced. So we have some parameters related to sound. Sound passes through the medium as longitudinal waves. What is longitudinal waves? Again, there is an explanation. Do we have? Yes, we have longitudinal waves in the next slide. So when the vibrations are fast, you hear a high pitch. When they are slow, you hear a low pitch. So if the string is vibrating very rapidly, then the pitch is high. That is to say, the frequency is high. When the string is vibrating in a very not so rapid manner, then the pitch is low, the frequency is low, and the sound has a lower pitch. Longitudinal waves can be understood using a video. So let me quickly play a video to show you what is a longitudinal wave. So you have two types of waves. So this is telling us that wave is a form of energy, and yes, this is important. from one point to the similar next point is the distance is called wavelength, and the maximum distance from the mean position to the maximum displacement is called amplitude. Yes, do you see here, the above is a transverse wave and the lower is a longitudinal wave. The vibration is along the direction of propagation. Such a wave is called longitudinal wave. Particle motion and the wave motion are along the same direction. So there is a compression that travels. Sound is a longitudinal wave. It travels in such a manner. The vibrations and the direction of propagation are in the same line. On the other hand, when you have something like this, the direction of propagation is perpendicular to the wave, to the vibration, you call it transverse. The meaning of transverse itself is 90 degrees. So perpendicular, transverse means perpendicular, longitudinal means along the length. So here another thing is explained in this video, very good video, which are parameters like wavelength, amplitude and so on. So let us see what is wavelength, amplitude, etc. The wavelength is shown in red. So the distance between two similar points, consecutive similar points, is called wavelength. So wavelength, it means the length of a wave. So one single wave. And the amplitude is the distance from the mean position, that is the midpoint, to the maximum distance away from the mean position. So the distance between two such points is called amplitude. So this is what we have. Production of sound. As we just discussed, sound is produced due to vibrations. So here we have a tuning fork. A tuning fork, when vibrates, creates sound. Low sound and high sound. Now you have something called pitch, or the frequency of the vibration. So you must have heard about the octave in music, sa re ga ma pa da ni sa. So C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. So that is the octave. So lower notes have lower frequency and higher notes have higher frequency. So pitch and frequency more or less are the same. So what is happening is higher frequency sound waves are compressed. The wavelength is smaller, and lower frequency sound waves are further stretched apart. The wavelength is longer, as you see in the diagram. High pitch is same as high frequency, low pitch is same as low frequency. Now this second and this further slide is about sound requiring a medium. So without medium, sound cannot travel. So as I just explained, that sound waves require over here. So around the string, what do we have? We have air. If there is no air, the string will still vibrate. The string will vibrate because of the tension in the string. But if there is no air, there is nothing to pass through for the waves. For the waves, there is nothing to pass through. It's like saying ocean waves exists because ocean exists. If ocean is itself not there, then the waves will not exist at all. Likewise, if the air is not there, then the sound waves will not exist. The waves will not propagate. So if air is not there, sound will also be not there. So in vacuum, there is no sound. Sound cannot be produced. So this is what we have. So in this small activity over here, described over here, what we are trying to justify is that sound cannot travel in vacuum. So here you have a diagram. This is a bell jar, and here there is an electrical bell. When you pass current, the bell will ring. The bell will ring and you will hear the sound. Now what you do is, you have a mechanism, you have a design in the apparatus such that you can pump out air. So air inside the bell jar can be taken out, pumped out. So if you pump out the air will become less and less in this jar, and the intensity of sound decreases. The intensity of sound decreases as the air is removed, and when the air is totally removed, the intensity of sound becomes zero. So you do not hear anything if there is no air in the bell jar. This demonstrates that sound requires a medium in the sense something through which the sound waves can travel through. So air is a good medium, water is also a medium, and so on. But if there is no medium, that is to say, if there is vacuum, then sound will not travel. This another experiment over here is similar one, in which you have a clock and you pump out air, and when the bell rings, the alarm rings, it is similar to this only. When the alarm rings, you don't hear anything because there is no air in the bell jar. With no air, no sound. So different instruments create different type of sounds. For example, the sound of a flute is different. The sound of a violin is a different sound. Sound created by keyboard, guitar, then trumpets, saxophone, etc. All these instruments create different types of sounds. So what makes two sounds different? That is to say, what makes flute sound different than violin? So it is the characteristic. There are the property is called timbre, by the way. So the timbre is different. So let us discuss some types of instruments over here. So these are woodwinds. So it is wind instrument. That is to say, you blow air, and by blowing air you create sound. So such instruments are called wind instruments. So here are some examples: flute, clarinet, bassoon, then you have piccolo and oboe. So these are wind instruments. String instruments. Strings make music by plucking or strumming the strings. So strings, very good example is a guitar or a violin, you must have seen somewhere. When the string vibrates, it creates sound. So basically all you have to do is set the string into vibration. As the string is set into vibration, it creates sound. Then you have percussion instruments. Percussion instruments are the instruments which produce sound when something is struck on something else. So you have to strike, shaking or scraping. So a very simple example is drums. In drums there are no strings, there is a membrane, tightly stretched membrane. So when you hit the membrane hard, the membrane vibrates and it creates sound. So you have to strike. So all these instruments which require striking or shaking or scraping is called percussion instruments, are called percussion instruments. Bass instruments. Now this is also in a sense wind instrument only, but the pitch produced is very very low. So you have French horn, then you have trombone, tuba and trumpet. How does violin produce sound? The body of the violin is a large hollow chamber that functions as a speaker or amplifier for vibration. So you see this body over here. This body acts like an amplifier for vibrations. The strings are suspended above the body of the instrument by a bridge. So this is the bridge. This is one node of the bridge and this is the other node of the bridge. Between these 2 points, the string is stretched, and the stretched string when plucked vibrates. A small maple piece of wood secured to the top of the instrument by the tension of the strings. The vibration from the strings is transferred through the bridge to the body of the instrument where the sound is then amplified. So the sound is amplified through this body. Strings vibrate, this body amplifies the sound and we hear what we hear. How dolphins communicate each other? Now interestingly, sound has very very high frequency. It can have any high frequency or any low frequency in principle. So if the frequency is very very high, we humans cannot hear the sound, and such high frequency is called ultrasonic sound. There are some animals which use ultrasonic sound to communicate. So we don't hear, but the communication is going on. One way they do this is by making sounds. The dolphins, they don't have vocal cords like we do, but they can control muscles in their blowholes to make different noises. Some of the noises they make sound like whistles and squeaks. Some of their sounds are ultrasonic, which means they are too high in pitch for people to even hear. By making all these sounds, dolphins can identify themselves to each other. So this is how dolphins communicate with each other. Whales sing to each other. Sound travels through water. So water is a medium through which sound travels. Now we will discuss little bit about noise pollution. Sound that is unwanted or disrupts one's quality of life is called as noise. When there is lot of noise in the environment, it is termed as sound pollution. Sound becomes undesirable when it disturbs the normal activities such as working, sleeping and during conversations. It is an underrated environmental problem because of the fact that we can't see, smell, or taste it. World Health Organization stated that noise must be recognized as a major threat to human well-being. So it is the World Health Organization which says that noise should be eliminated. So noise pollution is not good. So wherever there is noise pollution, it should be prevented, avoided, and it should be eliminated. So which is bad for us and the environment, and for other animals and perhaps the plants also. So health effects, it has health effects also. So it causes physiological and psychological health problems. So that is why we call it noise pollution. If it did not have any health effects, then we wouldn't have called it noise pollution. Sources of noise pollution. So there are several sources of noise pollution: loudspeakers, industrial noise, construction of buildings, highways and streets cause a lot of noise, bulldozers, loaders, dump trucks, etc. Solution for noise pollution: planting bushes and trees in and around sound generating sources is an effective solution for noise pollution. Regular servicing and tuning of automobiles can effectively reduce the noise pollution. Buildings can be designed with suitable noise absorbing materials for the walls, windows and ceilings. Workers should be provided with equipment such as earplugs and earmuffs for hearing protection. So this is what we can do to avoid noise pollution. Now we will discuss a few applications of sound. I will see I will show you one image. So this is one application of sound, an important one. So let us take this image. Yes. So sonar is one application where the boats use sound, ultrasound, to measure the depth of the sea, and it is also used in radar. So in radar you must have seen. So you must have seen this in yes, this one. You must have seen this in movies. So this arrow goes round and round and it detects if there is an object somewhere. So that is a radar. So sonar is an application of sound. Echolocation: dolphins use sound to communicate, as we just discussed, and sound is used in medical imaging in something called sonography, I suppose. So sound is used in medical field. Seismometer: so seismographs detect infrasound waves and can be used to locate the epicenters of earthquakes. So sound waves are wisely used in seismometers in geological studies. So this is it. This is pretty much it. So let us discuss some questions. What type of waves are sound waves? The answer is longitudinal waves. So sound waves are longitudinal waves and they require a medium. They are mechanical waves. What is the amplitude of a wave? The amplitude of a wave is the length between the mean position and the maximum displacement away from the mean position. So this is the amplitude. The length between these 2 points is called the amplitude. Homework. So these are the 2 questions, simple questions on what we just discussed. So this is it for today's class. I hope the concept related to sound is clear, and we stop here. I thank you for watching.